Hello, everybody, and welcome to That's a Wrap. My name is Anthony Gentry, and that's it for today. Few announcements before we get going. If you're watching on YouTube, first of all, you might notice that there's something different going on. You can see me. I am going to be trying video for a few episodes, see how that works out. If all goes well, you'll see more video in the future. But also address the elephant in the room. It's just me today. So Austin is still very much a part of That's a Wrap. He's still very dedicated to it, but he is going to take a little break. As you all know, we are in our third year of college, and that means things are getting pretty difficult. Things are getting stressful, hectic, and he is having some trouble finding time to see the movies that we're going to see. But don't worry, I'm still going to be here. I'm going to do solo episodes. Austin will come on when he can. I can't guarantee when that will be, but most likely for some of the bigger movies coming out. So yeah, so just get that out of the way. He's still here, but for now, it's just gonna be me. That also means it's probably going to be shorter episodes, maybe 20, 30 minutes. I'm not entirely sure how long these are going to be, but you'll still get them every week. And they will be weekly from now on. We we had a little 2 week gap between our first episode of the season, which you can check out on all our podcasting services and YouTube if you're watching. Um, and that was because we were trying to figure out what to do. And because of that, we're not gonna discuss any of the movies that came out these past 2 weeks, except for Gran Turismo, because we promised you that we would talk about it. Um, but before we get into any of that, any of those big new movies coming out, let's talk about some trailers. Let's talk about the future of cinema. So our first trailer that I'm going to talk about is Aquaman. Aquaman 2. I do not remember the name, and that's because this this trailer was just okay. It it wasn't anything special. It it looked fine. I'm not a huge fan of the Aquaman franchise, and it's the very last DC EU movie, and because of that, like I'm having a hard time getting interest in it because I know this is already a dead franchise going in, and that sucks. Haven't really been a big fan of the DCEU movies. Some of them I've liked, some of them I haven't liked. But this one, it looked fine. It looked like a cool buddy movie, I guess, between King Orm and Aquaman. Jason Momoa is back. He's a dad now, and his mom's there. He's got a job as the king of Atlantis because he got put in that MCU humor now. But yeah, it just looked okay. We'll probably review it. I don't know, but yeah, be on the lookout for that. I think it comes out December 20th. There's not really much to say about it. But let's move on. Let's go to a TV show on Disney Plus coming next month, October 13th, and it's based on a children's book series that I used to read. I didn't read all of it, and a reboot remake of a TV show too. Goosebumps. There's a new Goosebumps show coming out, and stars Justin Long as a guy possessed as this dead kid. I think that's what I got from the trailer. I was not expecting what I saw. I was thinking and honestly hoping that it would be more anthology based, like the original show and like all of the books are, just individual stories every episode. But this one is it's taking the route of that scary stories to tell in the dark movie that came out a few years ago. It is all like interconnected, following a group of kids trying to figure out this town mystery. And yeah, I think it looks interesting. I'm hoping it can still be like spooky. I'm not expecting like outright scary because I know it's still a kid show. It's going to be for families and for kids, and it should be. It's based on a children's novel series, but those were so scary and spooky, and I'm hoping they lean into that. There were some jokes in the trailer that I didn't find super funny. Of course, they had Slappy the dummy in the trailer, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna watch it, see what I think. Justin Long being a possessed person, we'll see how that goes. He's the Scream King of cinema. But yeah, October 13th, check it out. It'll be on Disney Plus. I think it might be also be on Hulu. I'm not sure. Anyway, our next trailer, going back to movies, and one of my favorite actors out there, Nicolas Cage. And this is an A24 joint, a dream scenario. This trailer, I had no idea what this was going to be about. I I just knew it's Nicolas Cage in A24, and I only saw that one picture they put out a while ago with Nicolas Cage next to a car that says loser on it. So I thought he was just going to be a teacher that was like loser because I heard he was a teacher too. But this is so much weirder and more interesting than I was expecting. It's about this guy who is just this normal everyday dude, kind of a loser, but he starts appearing in random people's dreams. And no one knows why, but he becomes a phenomenon out of it because he's now in everyone's dreams. And it looks like a mix of a comedy with more thriller vibes as it goes on because it turns into this funny kind of joke into this very serious thriller where his life may be at danger or just his identity, I guess. But it looks very interesting. It looks very Nicolas Cage esque. Of it's going to be a wild performance. In the trailer, they showed him in different dreams, and it was weird. It was wacky. I'm here for it. I think this could be a very good Nicolas Cage movie. That is coming out November 22nd. Let's move on to another Nicolas Cage movie. This is one he has been talking about for a while so far, and it is called. Let me find it real fast. Butcher's Crossing. It's about a frontiersman who I guess he's evil. I don't know, and he's a buffalo hunter with a group of other buffalo hunters, and it looks like this psychological thriller of them going insane. So I guess they get stranded out in the wilderness while hunting for buffalo. And Nicolas Cage, he's bald in it, so you know he's bad. Shout out to all bald people. No disrespect. But it looks interesting. I don't know what to take from the trailer, but I'm here for it. I don't know if it's going to be one of those actual Nicolas Cage movies or the ones that he does to get out of debt. Hopefully, it's the first one. I will probably be watching it if it's showing near me. If not, who knows? That is. I'm not sure when that's coming out, so be on the lookout for it. Our next trailer is one that I'm excited for. It's Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So this movie is a prequel to the Hunger Games movies, starring President Snow. And when I first heard about it, I thought, you're going to make a movie about the bad guy when he was a teenager or I guess young adult? This is not going to work. And he's the good guy? No. No, that's not going to work at all. The trailer makes it look like it's going to work. It doesn't hurt that Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage are in it, and Rachel Ziegler is the love interest, which it's weird. It's kind of weird to make the bad guy the lead in this kind of romance movie. I mean, it's still like Hunger Games, so there's going to be a lot of death, and he is the Rachel Ziegler's mentor, so he's kind of sending her out to die. But I'm interested to see how he falls from grace and see how he starts as this good person trying to like just be good and be decent and help this girl, and she's probably gonna die. I haven't read the book, I haven't seen this, but she's probably gonna die, and that's what's gonna send him down his path of evil. I know some things about the whole Snow story, like I think he was like poisoned or something, or he has like the poison flower. So I know there's like a deep history with it, and this is based on a book, and that's what has me excited because it's not just filmmakers making up a story to make money. It seems like they actually have a reason to do this. But yeah, that comes out November 17th. Be on the lookout for a review of it. Maybe Austin will be here. Who knows? But yeah, that looks pretty cool. All right, let's talk about our last trailer. And this is one I am most excited for. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, season 1. Hopefully more seasons if the writers and actors strike ends, because pay your writers, pay your actors well. Do it, please. They deserve the money. They deserve to be compensated for their work. But yes, this show comes out December 20th, and it is based on my favorite childhood book series. I loved reading these books growing up. For those of you who don't know, it is based on this kid who like is kind of a loner. He's a loser, and he learns that he is the son of a Greek god, and that god is Poseidon, one of the main three gods. And he goes on a lot of quests, a lot of journeys, and in this season, which covers the first book, he has been accused of stealing Zeus's lightning bolt, and he has to go on a journey to figure out who actually stole it so he can give it back to the gods before I think they kill him or they destroy the camp. It's been a decade since I read the book. I forget. But yeah, and if you listen to our other podcasts, I was not super hot on the first trailer. I thought it looked okay. There was a weird volume shot with Ares on the beach. That looked weird. Like, just go to a beach to film it. Don't use the volume. But this trailer was really good. I really liked this trailer. Um, it it really just reminded me of reading Percy Jackson as a kid, and just like seeing like, oh, I know that scene. I know that scene. They're at the casino. They're at the hotel. They're battling Ares. I'm not gonna give anything else away because you should watch it. You should read the books. They're amazing, and I stand by that. Even though it's been a decade since I've read it, I'm gonna reread them before this comes out. If I have time, I won't have time. But yeah, there's and Walter Scobell, who was in not Free Guy, but The Adam Project. He looks great in this. The actors who play Annabelle and Grover, they look great. We didn't get much of them, but I'm really excited for this show. Um, the thing that like struck me, which is it's a nitpick, I don't know, but the sword that Percy has, it comes from a pen. So when he clicks the pen, it turns into a sword, and it's like this mechanical transformation. It looks like in the show it's like more of an energy kind of thing. Like he clicks it and then it just materializes out of thin air. I think that's interesting. I'm not sure how that'll go, but we'll see. But that aside, that's just a minor thing. This show looks good. I am very excited to see this and see it actually be accurate to the books because the movies were not. I still like the movies. Shoot me, I don't care. Movies were good, but this looks even better. I cannot wait. And they're actually kids. They're not adults acting like they're in high school when they're supposed to be 12. Anyway, December 20th, go check it out. Yeah, let's move on to the movies. Our first movie that we're going to talk about is Gran Turismo. I'm going to keep this short and sweet because it's been out for over a month, I think, already. If you wanted to see it, you've seen it already. But yeah, we said we would talk about it, so here I am talking about it. I like this movie. It was good. It was okay. The writing of it was very bad. There were a few lines that were just god awful. Like, I'm gonna nerf you, gamer. And oh, by the way, if no one knows what this is about, it's about a gamer, I guess, a person who plays the Gran Turismo video games and who's like obsessed with it, gets a chance to race in real life. And so it's this underdog sports movie. And if you've seen any underdog sports movie, you've seen this movie. It's the kid from humble beginnings whose parents don't understand what he's doing and why he's interested in this, gets the chance to do it, has the mentor who has another shot at like redemption and fame. It has the sleazy kind of business person with Orlando Bloom. It has the trials of him trying to make it. Maybe he won't. He makes it. And then you have the big race at the end where it's all on the line. And so the writing in it, the story, it's not anything special. But what really shines through are the performances, especially David Harbour, who plays the coach in it, who gets another chance at redemption. He's really good in the movie. He does a really good job of like making you believe that he is this guy who has wasted his shot at NASCAR driving, and but he sees the potential in the main lead, and he wants to help him up. And the lead is also great. Orlando Bloom's good. Jimon Hansu plays his dad. He's not in it that much, but he plays the overbearing father who just doesn't get it. But at the end he gets it. But yeah, he does a good job. I'm blanking on the main lead's name. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But yeah, overall, it was all right. The directing, Neil Blomkamp did it. I wanted more of it. There were a few shots where they were like, go inside the car engine and like get your adrenaline pumping. And he'd have like interesting shot setups of just things that you wouldn't normally see in a sports movie that I thought were really interesting, but they never committed to it. It was either a very quick shot that they never went back to, or yeah, it was just that, or they just interspersed it all throughout the movie, and they just never fully leaned into it, and they would just shoot the rest like normal. When it's like, Neil Blomkamp, I know you are a creative guy because you've done these high sci-fi movies. Bring some of that into this. It's not sci-fi, but just bring your expertise in having this out of this world story and bring it on small scale. So that's a little disappointing, but what can you do? I'd probably give this maybe like a 65, 63 maybe. It's worth watching. I I don't know if I would go to a theater to do it, especially I don't even think it's in theaters anymore now, but it's worth checking out. Maybe just at home doing something else, have it on in the background, watch the races. But yeah, that's my review of Gran Turismo. Did you watch it? What do you think about it? Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube, which you should be because then you can see my face. Our next movie, or the main movie that we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a murder. And that is Kenneth Branagh's A Haunting in Venice. This is the third movie in his Agatha Christie sort of novel adaptations. And you can check out our review of Death on the Nile from last year. So yeah, it's the third movie in it, and this time they're in spooky. So if you listen to that podcast, you'll know I think these movies are okay. I don't think they're the greatest things ever, but I don't think they're bad. They're interesting. I like seeing the big cast come together. This one is a little smaller scale. It still has an ensemble cast, but it feels smaller. It feels more intimate, and it really leans into, as the title implies, the spooky vibes of Halloween. It takes place on Halloween night. Hercule Poirot, which I will always butcher, so I will call him H. So H is retired. He is done with the case solving. He just wants to live his life in peace. All three of these movies, he just wants to go on vacation. He just wants a break. And then someone drags him into another murder. And this time, Tina Fey comes along and drags him to this Halloween party to say, hey, you're not living anymore. You need to have some life in you. So, yeah, we're going to go to this Halloween party and we're going to go to a seance. And the seance is performed by Michelle Yeoh, and stuff happens. It gets a little spooky. Maybe ghosts are real. And a murder happens, and H has to solve it. So let's get into the mystery aspect of this movie because it is a murder mystery. It's not much. It's I was able to figure it out. I want to say halfway through. But that's the problem with a lot of these adaptations because Agatha Christie, who I haven't read any of her novels, but I know she is a prolific writer. Back when she wrote these novels, they were like groundbreaking, and a lot of the stories that she wrote like hadn't been done before, but now they've been done to death. And so a lot of the mysteries in these movies is things that we've seen before, and so it's easily solvable. And Kenneth Branagh, as great as he is, I think he wants to be so true to the novels that he will not waver on what the mystery actually is and like who the culprit is and how it happened. And because of that, it's very easy to tell what is about to go down. So that is pretty disappointing. I'm gonna take a drink of water real fast. So yeah, that's disappointing, but that's okay. It is not okay, but anyway. And a, a lot of what these movies are trying to do is focus on Hercule. I got it. Hercule's character arc, and in the first one, you got a little bit of it of him thinking like everything is black and white, and then realizing is everything is not black and white. And then in the second one, you go a lot more into his backstory, his character, his like love interest from the past. And in this one, the main thing is you got to live. And the way they go about it is if he decides that ghosts are real, and that's a weird way to go about that character arc where the entire time like Hercule is like seeing these visions, he's hearing things that no one else is hearing and no one else is seeing. And so he's wondering, is he being haunted? And he's like, I don't believe in ghosts, but maybe they're real. Maybe these spirits are actually real in this house. And that's where they live and die with the character arc of you have to figure out whether you believe in this. I know like in some ways that's just a metaphor for like embracing the joys of life, like have fun, like let's pretend that they're real. But in case of these movies where it's supposed to be a little grounded, there's obviously a lot of just kooky humor, which I still don't like. They've done a lot less in this one, but it's still there. But it's supposed to be kind of serious, especially when it comes to this character, and it feels way off from what they've done before. So that just didn't sit right with me. One thing I do like though, I've been a little negative, is the direction. Kenneth Branagh knows how to make a movie, and with this one, because it is supposed to be this Halloween movie, he really focuses on the atmosphere and the tone. It's it's not particularly a scary movie, but it's a spooky movie. He really like leans in on the dark corridors or the quietness of this giant like mansion house that the entire movie sets place in. And you really feel that while you watch it. There's a few jump scares that like don't work for me because I'm just not a big fan of jump scares. But it's the vibe of it. It's the tone where it's it takes place all in one night, and you just see Hercule like walk down this long hallway, and you're not sure what's gonna happen next. And it worked for me. I really liked it. It was very good atmosphere and very good direction on his part there. The Let's go to the ensemble cast. The cast, which includes Jamie Dornan, Tina Fey, Michelle Yeoh, and this really little kid who knocks it out of the park. Um, they're all in it. There's a few others. I'm not sure of their names. I'm sorry, but they're good. I really like the performances. I wanted a little more, which will go into my biggest critique of this movie. But other than that, yeah, it was really good performances all around. Tina Fey was also very good. I usually just see her in these comedic roles, so it was interesting to see her buckle down and do a like serious dramatic role, which is not like an Oscar type of performance, but it's like, oh, okay, you're doing this period piece kind of role, and you're not like just making jokes. So that's cool. It's cool to see her range. But yeah, my biggest critique of this movie is the runtime. Now, if you've listened to any episode of this podcast, you will know that Austin and I hate long movies. We we do not want movies to be long. For me, like 2.5 hours, that's fine. If it's 3 hours, come on, man. Not looking. I'm looking forward to it, but not looking forward to Killers of the Flower Moon being 3.5 hours long. I'm gonna see that probably in IMAX. It's gonna be a struggle, but let's move on. This movie though is like an hour 40 minutes with credits. It's like maybe 95 minutes. It is way too short. The mystery is solved very quickly to the point where I thought we were halfway through, and then Hercule said, "I figured it out. You did it." And that just did not feel satisfying to me. Um, Basically, all he does is he goes through his interrogations, and that's all he has to do. He just interrogates everyone, and then he figures it out. There's hardly any clues like put throughout the movie. There's a few here and there that then they go back to when Hercule does his reveal moment. But other than that, they don't do a lot of like clues or just involving the audience of what happened. I only figured it out because, like I said, these mysteries are like a century old, maybe at this point, and so they're very easily solvable in today's world where you've seen everything. And so that was just very disappointing to me. I just wanted one more twist or one more something because I felt like I was able to figure it out pretty clearly, and it was just interviews, and then I figured it out. So yeah, I wanted at least maybe 20 more minutes, or they could cut out part of the beginning because the beginning really goes on for a long time to just set up where Hercule is at and to set up this party and how there are spirits in the house. And there was a murder or a death last year that might be a murder, and maybe Hercule has to solve that one. Who knows? But yeah, I really wished it was just a little bit longer because Jamie Dornan especially has a really interesting character where he plays like I mentioned the year prior a girl died and Jamie Dornan was her doctor, and he blames himself for it. He thinks he could have saved her, and so he's depressed, and he has a son who is practically taking care of him. And I thought that's a really interesting dynamic. He is giving a very good performance of this depressed person who's trying to be strong for his son, but is just failing at it. And I thought that could have been played with a lot more, especially with this mystery of someone else was murdered. Maybe Jamie Dornan did it to like avenge the girl who died last year. And they didn't play with that at all. It A lot of it also played how last year's Death of the Nile played, where I don't want to say a lot of it, but just something structurally. there's a death, and then something else happens. But yeah, overall, I was a little disappointed in this movie, but I still had a good time with it because the performances were good. The direction was really good. It was top notch. It was by far the best of the three. And that is what I like about these movies is they all have a different direction and different tones. Where the first one is on a train, this very snowy setting. It's very claustrophobic. And the second one is you're in the sun, you're on a cruise. This one you're in a house at night, it's raining, it's dark, it's Halloween. Spooky vibes are all around. So yeah, I do like that about this movie and the franchise. I keep saying like I hope there's like one more so they can really like figure it out. But I'm not sure anymore because I don't know how much more they can go with this, especially if they're going to repeat a lot of the same beats with Hercule. When you go on vacation, he goes on vacation, someone dies, he has to figure it out and re-find his humanity, just like every one of these movies. And they've really lost his original character of how in the first one he like very clearly had OCD and everything had to be precise and perfect. And I know that was part of his arc at the end to like things can be messy, but he felt very different in this movie. So yeah, I am very down on this, but I liked it overall. I would probably give it a 72, maybe a 73. Um yeah, did you see it? Let me know. Did you like it? Are you going to see it? Are you not interested? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe maybe you liked it. Who knows? But yeah, that will do it for this episode of That's a Wrap. I will not be doing the Rotten Tomatoes game because it is just me. But and I think I know. I think it's like 72. Let's check it. Yeah, I do think it's 72. But well, that is the score I just gave it. No, it's 77. Close. But yeah, let me know if you saw it. Let me know if you watched any of the trailers that I talked about this morning or any more trailers. Let me know if you have any input. Do you like this video format? Do you want it to go away? Do you just want audio? But without further ado, that's it. You can follow us at That's a Wrap NCR on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Next week, I will be reviewing Expendables. The Expendables 4, and they put the 4 in the title, so I'm going to be calling it Expendables. I don't know why they're doing it. But yeah, we'll see how this movie is. I've never seen any of the other films, and I'm not going to watch them, so it'll be interesting how I feel about them. But yeah, hope to see you there. But until next time, that's a wrap.